Hello, someone joined. Namaste, Sharmili. How are you? So we are at last nakshatra on the last session of 2020. Okay, which is good thing. Yeah. From New Year we can start something new. Okay, so let's begin with this nakshatra. Right. Okay. So, as I said, now understand this thing. Uh, the basics. Revati falls between 16 degree 40 minutes to 30 degree of Pisces. So, whole of the Revati is part of the Pisces sign. Now understand that Pisces is the last sign. This is the last nakshatra. Remember the first sign and the first nakshatra, uh, Ashwini and Aries. Okay, this is where that is where everything begins. This is where everything ends. Okay, this is the first understanding of this nakshatra, that the things finish at this nakshatra. Okay. Then Revati literally means wealth or wealthy. If we literally translate Revati in English, it means wealth or wealthy. Okay, its representation is a fish swimming in the sea, uh, or a drum. Okay, so these are the two pictorial representations of Revati. Either fish inside the sea, or a drum. Okay, uh, its lord or deity, its deity is Lord Pushan. Lord Pushan is understood as the god who takes the soul to the next destination. Okay, now it can be next destination as your next life, or it can be liberation also. Okay, so this is also nakshatra of liberation in a way, because the Lord Pushan can take your soul to the ultimate thing, ultimate source. Okay, so this is the thing. Then its lord is Mercury and its sign lord is Jupiter, as we know. Now the main thing is that as we are in the last section of the nakshatras. Okay, so these, as I said, from Dhanishta onwards, things go much towards spiritual things, some higher meaning things. Okay, but this is where the biggest confusion is. Okay, and understand that the if materialistic, now normally people ask what are the significations of living a spiritual life, or when I will be spiritually inclined, or if there is a possibility of a spiritual evolution. Now understand this. First, you are living a materialistic life. Okay, first you are running after money, you are running after position, you want to become a manager, you want to become a senior manager, you want to rule over someone. Okay, that is your materialistic life. Then after some time you get tired of it. Okay, then you realize, okay, fine, money is important in life, but it is not where your happiness is. Then you find some peace in religion. You start going to temple. Now other now understand, if you have in materialistic life, if you had this goal of becoming manager, in religious life you want to become high priest or archbishop of some temple. Okay, so the names have changed. What I mean to say, that mind is playing the same game. Okay, here you wanted to become manager and senior manager, you there you want to become a high priest or archbishop. So just the names are changing. The ambition is still the same, that I want to be in some high position. Okay, so even in religious sphere you are doing the same thing. Mind is making you run towards same thing, just the names are changing. Here you want to you wanted to rule over people as a manager or senior manager, you want to rule over people as high priest or archbishop or cleric or anything. Okay, in religious sphere, then you get fed up of that also. Okay, the religion, then you move towards spirituality. Okay, then you think about this meditation, nirvana, moksha, god, all these things. Now again this is another goal, another mind game. Mind has made you busy in these things also. Okay, now you are running towards some guru who is telling you how to meditate, and you are meditating and all. That is now this is another illusion you have created for yourself. And like it is easy to get rid of illusion of money, but it is not easy to get rid of illusion of god, because no one knows god. It is just an idea. Okay, so now you will be running towards these things. Now this thing will become your ego, that I go towards I go my guru is this person, and he teaches me this way of meditation, and I meditate for so many hours. Now these things are becoming part of your ego. Okay, so in every sphere, what I am trying to say, in every sphere mind is keeping you busy with one or the other goal, and as long as there is goal, there is no liberation. Okay, as long as your mind is occupied by some goal, there is nothing like liberation. If you pay attention, then liberation is a concept which is totally eastern. In every religion we will find the concepts of heaven and hell. Okay, that after this life you are either going to heaven or you are going to hell. It is only the eastern religions who have came with the concept of liberation, that even you don't need to go into heaven and hell, you can simply go towards liberation. So this is the important thing. Now to get to liberation, you have to get rid of all your goals, either from materialistic life or from religious life or from spiritual life. Okay, even those spiritual goals are also goals. Even if you have a desire of meeting god, then also it is a desire, then also mind is playing its game. Okay, so anyways, like, although it is a better desire, all I can say, it is much better desire than the earlier desires, but it is still a desire. You have to understand it. It cannot be that this thing is not a desire. Okay, this is where the biggest difficulty comes, that when we start following religious pursuits or spiritual pursuits, we feel that okay, we have arrived. Okay, we have become some high souls and all, but it is not. As long as you are working, as long as you are running over after something, you are your mind is playing games and you are busy. Okay, take the example of this Gautam Siddhartha, Gautam Buddha. First, he was in his kingdom. He was living a life of prince. Whatever money could buy, he had it. Okay, so he got fed up of it, that okay, if money brings happiness, then I have everything which money can buy, and but I'm still not happy. So the thirst of money, the hunger of money was gone. Okay, this person leaves his palace, goes towards forest or mountains, and starts meditating, follows religious pursuits, spiritual pursuits, and goes to many teachers one after the other. Okay, every teacher teaches him something which he knew, but this person is not happy, this person is not satisfied. Then a moment comes where he meditates for about 6 years continuously, and then gets into the scenario where he gets rid of this desire of attaining God also. First, he got rid of the desire of attaining wealth. Now, he got rid of desire of attaining God. Then, there is no desire left whatsoever, either of attaining money or of attaining God. Then only you can be liberated. But this process is necessary. Understand this thing. The process is very necessary. Neither we can directly jump into religious pursuits, nor we can directly jump into spiritual pursuits. We have to go through this process of materialistic life, then go into religion, then go into spirituality, then it is a liberation. Okay, if you try to just jump into this religious life or spiritual life, then it is not possible, because you haven't exhausted the basic energy. Understand it like this: first you have to exhaust yourself in your materialistic pursuits. Understand? If I just give an example, suppose there is a politician. Okay, suppose there is a politician who is all about gaining money, gaining power, control over others anyhow. Okay, now this person will invest some 50-60 years of his life, and after that 50-60 years of life, a feeling is bound to come, okay, that I wasted my life. Okay, this feeling is bound to come when a person is trying to capture or control or manipulate people. At some point of time he will feel that I wasted my life, I could have utilized in more positive pursuits. So what happened, that the energy got exhausted, energy of gaining authority and power over others got exhausted. Then only he could go into the next step. Okay, the main thing is that this energy has to be exhausted. If it is not exhausted, if this person had directly jumped into religious sphere or spiritual sphere, he would try to manipulate people in religious sphere. He will wear the clothes of a religious person, he will wear the clothes of a spiritual person, but inside him he will be politician only. Okay, so it is very necessary to exhaust the energy of every step. If you are in materialistic life, first exhaust your materialistic desires, attain as much as wealth you want, attain as bigger position as you want, and then you will realize the futility of that step. Then go into the religious field, visit temples, visit monastery, wherever you want to go, and then someday you will realize the futility of these actions also. Then go towards spirituality, and then follow meditation and all. One day you will realize the futility of that also, and that day liberation will be there. That day you will be liberated. So it is necessary to go through all these steps and feel exhausted. When I say exhausted, what is getting exhausted? The ego is getting exhausted. It is very necessary for ego to get exhausted, then only you can have some spiritual awakening. Okay, because as long as ego is standing within you, the place is not empty. Divine energy cannot enter within you. Understand? only one energy can be there, either your egoistic energy or divine energy. If your ego is so strong and it is standing with head held high, a divine energy cannot enter. You make a space, divine energy is ready to come. Okay, so this is important thing in relation to all the nakshatras. um, as I said, people directly ask about spiritual life, but understand 12th house is the house of spirituality, 12th sign is the sign of spirituality, last nakshatra is the nakshatra of spirituality. Okay, so spirituality should be your last pursuit in life. When you attain every materialistic desire of your life, then you go towards spirituality. And it is same process actually. This mind, human mind likes to divide things. Okay, that this person is very materialistic, this person is very spiritual. Okay, this is the creation of human mind. Human mind wants to divide things, but the same person is whom you are calling materialistic is actually living a spiritual life also, because he is anyhow going towards that spirituality. Okay, the moment he exhausts this materialistic desires, his spiritual desires will begin. Okay, he will begin his spiritual journey from that time. So it is very necessary for him to exhaust this spiritual desire. As I said, that politician who wanted to exhaust, who wanted to take control or grab power over the people, even he realizes that he wasted his life. So to have this realization, it is necessary to waste your life first in that in those activities. And we all have wasted our lives, many lives, one after the other, in such pursuits. Okay, it is not that we are very pure people, or we haven't done anything wrong in any of our lives. Just last night I was having a discussion, and with one of my friend, and she was asking that recently I wrote a lot of articles on serial killers and all. So she was asking that, okay, what makes a serial killer? If we go into this spiritual domain, how can you explain that a person is becoming a serial killer? Understand that someone is all our souls were are actually coming from animal kingdom. We all lived a life of animal also. We all, okay, every one of us, we all have come from animal kingdom. So now understand, a soul is directly coming from animal kingdom and getting the first life as a human life. Okay, now the animal instincts will be there. Animal instincts will be there. He will commit crime. This soul who has taken birth as a human being is bound to commit crime. So we all have been through that process. We all might have killed some people in our past lives. We all have done some bad things in our past life, even in this life. We cannot say that, okay, we are completely genuine, Maryada Purushottam, something like that. And no one is like that. Okay, so the basic fact that we are here in this world and experiencing this world, itself shows that we all have been through that process. Okay, and it is necessary for us to go through this process. Only then we can go towards spirituality in a total sense, and then liberation. Okay, so this is the gist of this nakshatra. This nakshatra talks about liberation, but it is important to know this process. We cannot directly jump into spirituality or liberation. Okay, we cannot directly say, okay, this person will be spiritual, this person will be liberated. Nothing. First he has to exhaust his materialistic desires, then he will go into the religious sphere, then he will go into spiritual sphere, and everywhere he is exhausting his ego. And then the liberation happens when you are not you don't have any goal whatsoever. Neither the goal of attaining manager post at your job place, nor the goal of becoming a archbishop or high priest in your temple, nor the desire of attaining God. And then you are completely in the moment for the first time, because goal is in the future, right? Goal is always in the future. So first time when you don't have a goal, you are in the moment, and the minute you enter into the moment, it is your liberation. Okay, so this is the process. This is the importance of this Revati nakshatra. Before anyone starts jumping on the conclusion, okay, I have this planet in this Revati nakshatra, so I will be very spiritual. First you have to go through this process, then you can become a spiritual, and then you can think about liberation. And as long as you are thinking about liberation, that liberation is in the future and you are not going to liberate it. Okay, this is the main thing of this nakshatra. As long as it is in your mind is making you run towards liberation, you are not getting liberated. The moment you get out of this mind, then you can hope that something can happen. Okay, so this is important with this nakshatra. So now if we try to understand the various significations of this nakshatra, as I said, this nakshatra is of liberation or spirituality, okay, or crossing the spiritual path to become liberate. So these people are normally seen as very spiritual person. As I said, this is the last sign and last nakshatra of Pisces sign. Pisces is the sign of spirituality. So this nakshatra becomes the most important nakshatra related with the spiritual area of life. Then it is one of its representation is wealth also. It can be your spiritual wealth also, it can be your materialistic wealth also. It can be someone can be very wealthy spiritually, and someone can be working in financial side of work, and that representation can also be there with this nakshatra. Its pictorial representation is a fish swimming in the sea. So that is a representation of all of us. Okay, understand, we are the fish which is swimming in the sea. We are fish which is swimming in this world. Okay, we talk about where is God, and how we can reach God. We are inside the God. This universe, this world is God, and we are swimming inside the God. Okay, so this is the thing which this nakshatra represents. The another representation is drum. Pictorial representation of this nakshatra is drum. If you remember, Dhanishta also has this representation. Dhanishta is represented by drum and flute both. Okay, so when this drum can be related with your creative pursuits also. That person can be interested in music, and he can be interested in any kind of other creative talents. But at the same time, drum also means a shepherd or a cowherd beats the drum to get his cattle at one place, so that he can take cattle at his home. Okay, at their home. Likewise, drum symbolism for us as a human being represents that Lord Pushan is beating the drum and calling our soul to the home, to the source energy. That is also a representation of this nakshatra. Then as I said, it falls within Pisces, so they can be highly spiritual, they can be highly imaginative, they can be highly creative also. But one drawback with this nakshatra comes that as it is the nakshatra of imagination, these people can be very living a dreamy life. Okay, they live in their own dream. Okay, if ascendant nakshatra is Revati or moon is in Revati, that is an indication that someone is living a dream. Okay, and they are far from reality, and that's what I mean to say. Understand the exact opposite sign of Pisces is Virgo. Virgo is the sign of being practical. When Pisces is opposite to Virgo, Pisces is the least practical people in the world. Okay, so this is a drawback. Now, this same energy of living in a dream world, living in imagination, can lead someone to drugs, can lead someone to any kind of intoxication, and that is a negative representation of Revati or Pisces. Again, it depends upon person's evolution level, how evolved he is. As per his evolution level, as per his consciousness level, he will decide where he wants to explore the energy, if he wants to take drugs or he wants to meditate. Okay, the end result of both of them is quite similar. They both take you in different world, but the difference is that in intoxication you are not aware. While doing meditation, even if you go into different world, you are aware. The consciousness is the difference between the two. Okay, so they can be creative, but they can be very imaginative also. Okay, so that is the thing. Then yeah, it is mainly about following your spiritual pursuits, but following those spiritual pursuits, it is necessary that one should first follow his materialistic pursuits. Get your materialistic desires done first of all, then the spiritual process is automatic. Okay, it is not that someone has to predict or someone has to make a special effort to become spiritual. After that, you will automatically become spiritual after that, once your materialistic desires are done. Once you have everything which money can buy and you didn't get any happiness out of it, you are bound to be spiritual, and there is no other way. So let's see. It's my nakshatra. Hello. Moon in Pisces, 11th house, Revati. Mercury is in second house, Taurus ascendant. How will be Moon Mahadasha? Again, for this person, Moon rules the third house and Moon sits into the 11th house. Third house is your business, communication, and 11th house is serving humanity. Moon is about taking care and nourishing people. Pisces, Revati is spiritual. So in your spiritual, imaginative or creative pursuits, if you take care and serve people uh, through your business, that is going to help you in Moon Dasha. That can bring you good gains, but be aware that you should not be too imaginative or too dreamy about life. Okay, that can be a biggest obstacle when Moon is in Pisces. They can be too dreamy about their life, less practical. So just be sure. My ascendant nakshatra is Revati, and Lord of nakshatra is in ascendant. Okay, my throughout life Mercury is having more impact, or Moon nakshatra Lord, which is Saturn. uh, Again, we cannot say who is having more impact. When moon is in a specific nakshatra, your mind is working related with that. Okay, moon, any situation related with moon, any planetary position related with moon shows how your mind is working, and anything related with your ascendant shows how events are happening in your life. Okay, so your Revati is your ascendant nakshatra, and that means your life pattern will be Revati like. How you will react will be like moon in Uttara, moon in Saturn's nakshatra, whichever nakshatra it is in. Okay. Also, like when Mercury is also sitting in first house, Mercury is also sitting in first house. It again shows that business or any kind of creative work can be an important part of your life pattern. My ascendant Lord Mangal in Revati. Mars is your actions. Mars is your actions, and it is going into Revati. Now it can be like Aries ascendant or Scorpio ascendant, both of them. I don't know which ascendant you are, but it shows that your actions and efforts are going into Revati domain. Okay, related with spiritual matters or matters of imagination, creativity. You may be taking lots of actions in your creative interest and all, and in spiritual pursuits. Mars in Revati Pisces can indicate someone who is into yoga, meditation, any kind of physical activity which can be of spiritual in nature. Mars is your physical activity, and like Pisces and Revati are spirituality. So you have to combine both the things: physical activities which lead you to spirituality, which includes meditation or yoga or something like that. Okay. I have Atmakarka in Revati in ninth house. It's Vargottama in D9. Okay. I have Atmakarka in Jupiter in Revati. Okay. We have more. Oh. Okay. So Atmakarka Jupiter in Revati in ninth house. It's Vargottama in D9 ninth house. Fine. This with Moon in Purubhadra. Okay. Uh, uh, Venus aspects Moon from second house. So materialism and spiritual pursuits go hand in hand. I feel balanced in both the worlds right now, but want to achieve some highest spiritual growth. With retro Jupiter, searching a guru is still a quest. You can be guru to others. Why you need to search guru for yourself? Like Jupiter in ninth house in Pisces is very much a guru like position. You can be guru to others. Okay, maybe that's why you are not getting guru, because you are ready to be guru for others. So, but it is a very good position for knowledge sharing related work, any work related with teaching and all. Okay, as it is in sign of Pisces and Revati Nakshatra, it can be, and it is Varguttama also. It is very much an indication of guiding, counseling people, sharing your knowledge with others, and that will give the best benefits in life. Again, as I said, both the things are always going simultaneously. Spirituality or materialism, we like to segregate things. Mind likes to segregate things, but both the things are always moving together. uh, the moment you accomplish your materialistic desires, you are bound to become spiritual. Okay. Scorpio, Mars in fifth house Pisces, so far is Scorpio ascendant. Yes, so Pisces is the sign of spirituality. Revati is the nakshatra of spirituality. Mars is your actions. First lord means life path is going towards fifth house Pisces Revati. Also sixth lord coming into the Pisces. So it shows that your daily work life can also be about dealing with people in matters of spirituality and spiritual pursuits. Okay. Like as I said, meditation or yoga becomes very important. People can be interested in aerobics also with Mars in the fifth house, because fifth house is also sports. Mars is physical activities, which is leading you towards this spiritual side of life. So this is the thing with Mars in Pisces in fifth house in Revati. So as I said, it is all about first attaining your materialistic desires, then going towards spiritual. Don't jump into the biggest mistake we do. Now understand this thing also. Biggest mistake which has happened in countries like India is when we have tried to make people jump into spirituality. Okay, when we have started preaching people that money is just a dream, money is a futile thing. Okay, uh, you will get to hear this thing many a times from many people, many spiritual people, that that like they give the example of all the gods incarnation we have, Ram, Krishna, Buddha, Mahavir, and they say that okay, they'll see they left their wealth, they left their palaces, so there is nothing in money, and we should let go of money. Fine, they did out of their own will. First of all, they exhausted wealth. Okay, they explored wealth or and materialistic life to the extremes, and then only they realized the futility of it. So first you need to exhaust it. First you need to explore your materialistic part of life and exhaust it. Then you will automatically run towards spirituality, go towards spirituality. Then you don't need anyone to tell you to go towards spirituality. So this is the important thing, and this is the biggest mistake we are doing, that people are automatically directly jumping into the religious or spiritual sphere without accomplishing their materialistic desires. That's why we are having trouble. That the person is living in an ashram, but his mind is working somewhere else. Okay, this is where the trouble is. So let that mind attain materialistic desires first, and then go towards spirituality. Don't jump into spirituality before attaining your materialistic desires. Okay, it may look great. Okay, and it is also a like ego satisfaction. Even following your materialistic spiritual desires is also a ego satisfaction, as I said, that telling people that I go for a meditation class every morning and I meditate for 3 hours in a day, that is also an ego satisfaction. Ego is anything which is making you look superior to others in any way. Okay, so even following your spiritual pursuits can become your egoistic desire. Okay, then even your spirituality is nothing but materialism. So this is important. This is where we should exhaust our materialistic desires. Like when I took this sannyas, people questioned a lot. Okay, I got many questions from my site or my channel and all. So the thing is that sannyas is a process for me. It is not that I became sannyasin that day. I got initiated in the process of being a sannyasi on that day. Okay, so I am in that process. I have not I never claimed to be a spiritual person. I never said that I am a very spiritual person. There is no spiritual bone within me. I am totally materialistic person as of now, and I have no issue with it. I am in complete agreement with this fact that I am a materialistic person. Okay, and I also know that once these materialistic desires will be over, I will automatically go into a spiritual field. Okay, so this is what I mean to convey with this session on Revati. Uh, so I think we had enough for today. Okay. Any further question? I will just wait for a few minutes. Then we can. Okay. Okay. I think we are done. Uh, if anyone has questions, then please feel free to comment. I will be more than happy to respond. Let's meet in New Year. Enjoy your New Year time. And okay, enjoy your New Year time with your family and friends, and let's hope that 2021 will be a great year for you. I may do a session on 1st January. So have a good time, uh, and let's hope for a great year ahead. Okay, take care, enjoy, bye.